Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to discuss a theory that I have regarding on what if the galaxy knew that Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's father. Now, Luke was a beacon of hope in the rebellion. He essentially was the main guy that blew up the first Death Star, and he was leading the rebellion as the Jedi, as the Force user, as this mystical, magical being. Now, what if the galaxy had known that Vader was Luke's dad? I believe he'd run into the same problems that Leia ran into in the book Bloodline, where the galaxy found out that Vader was Leia's father. I think that they would ostracize Luke. I think they would kick him out of the rebellion, or if they let him in, he would just be kind of like a black sheep. They wouldn't really give him much respect because they would think he's a spy, or they would think he's going to turn, or they would blame the atrocities of the Empire and the oppression that the Empire held over the galaxy onto Luke, simply for sharing the same blood as his father. It would cause a major rift within the rebellion. There would probably be two sides that favored Luke and one who didn't. This would perhaps cause infighting and take a lot of time away from actually focusing on defeating the Empire and more on fighting each other. I think this would work in the favor of the Empire and essentially wouldn't really help Luke's situation at all. I think a lot of this doubt and fear would actually entice Luke's anger and his aggression towards those who constantly compared him to his father, and it wouldn't really be a good thing for his progression as a Jedi to stay neutral and to stay calm. Or it could completely do the opposite, and it could actually benefit his training. It could make him want to seek refuge. It could make him want to get away from everything to do with the rebellion and to go off to Dagobah and just train full time with Yoda. His friends could visit him here and there, but at the end of the day, he knew that anywhere else that he went in the galaxy, he would just be unwelcomed. Now, another thing I believe this could do is it could also make the Empire favor him. So a lot of the stormtroopers, a lot of people who may come into contact with Luke would probably try to just talk to him or even be a little bit less hostile towards him, seeing as how he is the heir to the throne. He is the son of the most powerful being that they know of. Mind you, they didn't know how powerful physically or in the Force Palpatine was. They knew he was the higher in command, but Vader was the attack dog. He was the one you feared. For all they knew, Palpatine was the one who just gave orders. I believe there would be a bigger target on Luke Skywalker's back to bring him into the Empire and to turn him to the dark side, to bring him home, so to speak, and put him in his rightful place as the heir to his father's throne. Essentially, what Palpatine always wanted, which was to replace Anakin Skywalker with Luke, or replace Vader with Luke. Now, for this to happen, the only thing the Empire would need to do was to reveal the fact that Luke was indeed Vader's son. However, this could also have a weird effect on the Empire too. Imagine the Empire reveals that Luke is Vader's son. Well, they would know that Luke Skywalker is the son of Vader, which means that Vader is Anakin Skywalker. If you remember in episode 4, Luke is talking to a bunch of friends in the rebellion, and they essentially, it's in a deleted scene, and they tell him that he is the son of Anakin Skywalker, a great pilot. So they would put two and two together that Anakin Skywalker is Vader, and then the whole galaxy would understand that, holy crap, Order 66 was kind of just all planned by the Emperor and Anakin. I think it would do a lot of damage to the Empire just as much as it would to Luke Skywalker. I think the trust in the Emperor would probably be tarnished at that point. But knowing Palpatine, he would probably come out with some statement eventually saying that Anakin Skywalker was the only one that actually protected him against the attack from the Jedi. And once he learned that the Jedi were trying to assassinate the Emperor, assassinate Palpatine, at the time the Chancellor, he did everything in his power to protect him, and eventually he ended up being severely wounded, so the Emperor took it upon himself to protect him and give him the finest medical treatments, which we all know is BS, since the Emperor gave Anakin probably the worst medical treatment possible. He gave him like the most outdated cybernetics and electronics just so that Anakin would essentially suffer and also be punished for losing to Obi-Wan Kenobi and ruining the Emperor's plans that he had tried for so long to bring Anakin to the dark side and make him his apprentice and to rule the galaxy with the most powerful being, right? Because Anakin Skywalker, with full power, had he not lost to Obi-Wan, would have been unbelievably powerful. It's just there's no one else that would come close, even the Emperor. And George said, that Anakin, had he not lost, would have been twice as strong as the Emperor, which is unfathomable. But now that he did lose to Obi-Wan, he was only 80% as strong as the Emperor's full powers, which is still really strong, but that 20% won't really allow him to kill the Emperor. And it's nowhere near the 200% compared to the Emperor that he would have been if he didn't lose to Obi-Wan and Mustafar in Revenge of the Sith. So the issue here isn't necessarily what would happen to the Empire, it's really what would happen to Luke, because I don't think there's really anything you can do, or the galaxy could do, to dethrone the Emperor. I believe the Emperor is just such a mastermind in politics and chess that he can see a million different moves before they actually happen, and he can see all different possible outcomes. He's kind of like Doctor Strange, but a Force user. And this was actually one of the powers that Palpatine was really proficient in, which was seeing into the future and also seeing into the mind of others. If you remember, he was able to see into the mind of Luke Skywalker in Return of the Jedi. So, if anything, revealing to the galaxy that Luke Skywalker was Vader's son would do a little bit of drama for the Empire until Palpatine made that statement and set the record straight that Anakin was actually the only one that was protecting the Emperor and protecting the ideologies of the Empire. But of course, it would get so many people talking and people would have their doubts. However, that statement would probably clear up a lot of things for the weak-minded. Another thing for Luke I think it would do is it would cause a lot of doubt. I believe a lot of people would be saying that he belongs in the Empire and he should go be with his father. Probably in a snarky and negative way, but I just don't see them being very kind to him, knowing that the ruler of the galaxy and his apprentice has any sort of relation towards Luke, let alone being his father. And then once they find out that Leia is the sister to Luke, knowing this, she would never be able to run for politics or anything like that, because they would immediately brand her as being a part of Vader and a part of the Empire, and maybe even being branded as a spy. So I think the galaxy knowing that Luke was Vader's son would probably do more harm to Luke than it would to any other faction, to the Empire, to Vader, to the Emperor, because it would just cause so much infighting within the rebellion that it would just distract them from actually doing the task at hand, which is to fight the Empire, the oppression over the galaxy at that point. I think the fact that it was kept a secret was probably the dumbest thing that the Emperor could have done, but also the best thing for the galaxy. Hope you guys enjoyed this theory video. Let me know what you think about it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, remember, the Force will be with you, always.
Fulfill your destiny.